before. The cloud is connected, dynamic, and diverse, and offers agility that cannot be matched by traditional infrastructure. However, as a customer, it is hard to ignore the major hacks that are attacking cloud-based businesses. Cloud vendors only advocate a shared responsibility security model when they commit to protecting their own cloud infrastructure without extending protection to your applications and data on their cloud. Ultimately, the customer is responsible to protect their own assets in the cloud. When organizations migrate applications to the cloud, security is often the main concern. The IT security team is worried that cloud is more vulnerable than an on-premise data center. Additionally, the DevOps team believes that adding security to the cloud will slow them down. With Checkpoint Cloud Guard, we believe that the cloud can be as secure as your physical data center, and that cloud security can be as dynamic and agile as your cloud operation. Security should be an enabler for your cloud adoption, for your cloud perimeter security, and for true east-west protection inside your private and public cloud. CloudGuard gives you the best protection. At Checkpoint, we invented the stateful firewall. Since then, we have been a Gartner Magic Quadrant leader for 20 years straight. We have been recommended by NSS 14 times in the past 7 years, and we constantly display the industry's best cyber catch rate. We serve over 100,000 customers around the world and secure over 90% of Fortune 500 companies. CloudGuard utilizes over 20 years of Checkpoint experience and leading security technologies to secure your cloud. CloudGuard is unique in being a truly multi-cloud security solution. It can be used to secure all the popular cloud platforms, on-premise data centers, and public IaaS. Regardless of your cloud of choice, with CloudGuard, your cloud security will be managed from a single pane of glass. From one console, you can share policies and rules between different cloud suppliers and gain visibility to your cloud security posture across different platforms. We understand that you are choosing cloud to achieve automation and agility, yet DevOps and application owners see legacy security as a showstopper. Security can no longer be static. It must be as automated and agile as your cloud. Checkpoint Adaptive Security allows organizations to keep their cloud agile and protected at the same time. You no longer use IP addresses. Rather, you use dynamic cloud objects. This means that you and your team can have easy-to-understand cloud applications in your security policies and logs instead of obscure IP addresses. Let us show you just how simple it is. We can use Checkpoint Adaptive Security to connect a web VPC within AWS to a database VMs inside your on-premise VMware data center. Using cloud dynamic objects instead of static IPs doesn't only look better on your screen, it makes your security more agile and dynamic than you can imagine. For example, DevOps and application owners can make changes to cloud networking as well as to VM's IP addresses or names, and the security policy will automatically be updated. There is no need to open a ticket and wait for a few days. You can add VMs to your application and your security policy will dynamically stay updated while your virtual security gateways will automatically scale as needed. You can spin up a new application. CloudGuard will automatically secure it from the first moment. And you can terminate a virtual machine. CloudGuard will clean up the policy when cloud objects get deleted. CloudGuard, adaptive security allows you to innovate faster.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Saroj, the AWS Ascent Solution Architect. So today we talk about the security cloud with the Checkpoint and also the partner the Dome9. So let me start first at why we interested and go through a bit in security. If you think through about the long time ago in the traditional way, if we have two things happen. The first that when you develop in the cycle of development, you build, you keep the requirement, you program development until you're testing that. And the last stage that you have is the security. Security is go to how can you make sure that everything is going fine and that doesn't have any bug and doesn't have any come over the data that is can lost. That is the last stage that we concern. But it have to trade off between the time that you have to spend and go live on your application, compared with the spend time to do the security. That's the one thing that visibility that the customer want to know, that is a lack of visibility. The second thing, when we talk about the automation, we talk about the DevOps, that is have to build in the fastest way and the rapid agility and deployment. The first that customer want to make the security in the automation degree, that is quite difficult in a traditional way. When we consider to have a move fast, it means that you have to develop the thing in the fastest way. You have to trade off between the how can you make it secure. If you go more in secure, then you have to delay on your project to development. That is a simple, and before that happen, what about the AWS thinking? We're thinking about is can combine together between the move fast and you also stay in the good shape in the security. That is a move fast and stay secure. When we talk about this one, we can have it just only move into the AWS. Is comply inherent already in the global security, in the best practice, also the service that make you confident that we can combine the thing together in the speed, in the agility, also in the security way. The second thing is that you can scale your application, like we have a feature like auto scaling, that you can move out and scale out your application, web application, along the way that coming up with the workload. And the same way that you can have visibility and control. And we also have many kinds of the service that can enhance and inherit the security and help you in the same way that you can make it better performance, also the better security. In the same way that we have, you can automate everything in the security into your code, like a CloudFormation or the infra as a code. And yeah, we talk about the checkpoint, we talk about the domain, is a third party or is a network for the security that is a domain on this area and combined with our partner. So when we talk about the security on the AWS, we have to talk about the shared responsibility. So let me mention a bit in what is the shared responsibility. So we go through a bit in we have a physical server and you locate in the data center. That is a variety in terms of the power, in terms of electric, in terms of the security guard, in terms of the fence or data center, all of that one, if you protect and make you secure under the AWS control. That we talk about, that one is a responsibility for the AWS. But above of that, above of the hypervisor, in terms of the OS, in terms of the network, in terms of the configuration. So you choose between what protocol that you allow to access in your VM, allow on the port that you access, allow in the 3-tier architecture, and also the networking and the firewall that you can configurable. That is your responsibility, and that's the way that we talk about a customer responsible. Example, when we go through the web application. So the web application is located in the physical area. One thing maybe the server, maybe you have a storage, either block storage in the networking. That is a kind of our security or our responsibility to the AWS. Yep, here. Then above of that, you can choose between you want to encryption data on the client and put into the server, or you do the server-side encryption, or you would the network in the transit encryption, that one. So it's on the way that you can control and you open that one. And also the access that you mentioned, who can access, who can go to your source, who can retrieve your data, who can processing on the same way that we have. That is under the customer responsibility. So that's what I hear about the web application. So we help you that, and we are on the way that the one thing that the customer talk about is a compliance. If you talk about a compliance, is example like a manufacturing or the standard security. We talk about ISO. So ISO 27017 is talk about the simple or the general security. If we talk about the data protection, we go a bit in the ISO 27018. Or we talk about the general cloud protection, the general purpose, that one is the SOC 1, and go to the personal data protection in the SOC 2 and the SOC 3. That is aligned in terms of the industry. If we talk about a financial institute, the compliance that you have to provide to the customer is about the PCI DSS. If we talk about the healthcare industry, we talk about the HIPAA. So all of the kinds of things, we have it over than the 90 compliance. Even you go to the FISMA, even you go to the CSA, even you go to the FINRA or the customer that use. It's the same security that we apply both of the scale, the customer, like a Netflix, like a FINRA that is a security for the market for the USA. Also the same that we have the banking around the ASEAN or the Europe. So the latest thing is about we also comply the GDPR, that you do the commercial or you do the customer in the Europe, you have to comply all the type of thing. And the GDPR is talk about data protection. So all of kind is we have is a comply under the AWS service. That comply is you can request an artifact, even you SOC 1, 2, 3, or even ISO. So the artifact is coming up under your account, under your service, under your region that you operated. So yes, have a many form of that is allowed. I have ever request from the customer for the SOC 2 artifact is over 200 pages. That is talk about what is a service, what is a compliant one. So is when you request a SOC 1 is coming up 200, SOC 2 is a 200, and ISO is 200 to have a lot of paper to make sure that security is a supreme and security is a job zero for the AWS. So let me go a bit in the security solution. Wait a bit. Yeah, things can happen. Sure. Okay. So we split out in the security when we talk about the landscape. You have to start from the identify what is the can coming up, how can we control it, and go to how can we detect, and what is the inside security, what happened about the data, and then how can we do the incident or the react with the happen in our system. Start from the identity. You can identify the user, you can identify the role, you can identify the security policy, also you can identify the temporary access using our AWS Identity Access Management. Even some customers want to integrate with the directory service like a Active Directory. We also have the simple Active Directory. You have a connector to connect with your on-prem. Also, you can set up on the cloud AWS. That's the same way. A lot of customers have a lot of accounts. Then one account for the ERP, one account for the HR, also the develop and the UAT and the QA and the production. So the AWS organization is controlled to make sure that security is under the same policy. You can have a managed policy on your secret and make sure the access to data is all around the way in the same way that you want to make it. And you can make it easy, your ease of use using the single sign-on. You can identify that one. Also, you have AWS Cognito to federation between maybe Facebook, maybe the Twitter, maybe Instagram, and access on the same way that just a simple to make is not people intervention between of that. So identify is the first thing. When you go into how can we protect and control on that one, we talk about how can we audit what happened in the system. So in AWS, we have a CloudTrail that you can auditing what happened in your system, what happened in your VM or the RDS or the many kinds of the service that we have the service to the customer. And anything is changing on your configuration if you alert on the AWS config. Also, you can have a logging for the monitoring what happened in your health check on your health in the system using the AWS CloudWatch. So even though that one, we have an extreme concern about security, that's why we launched the AI in the cloud. And the AI is just looking for the what is the CloudWatch log, what is the CloudTrail log, also what is the VPC flow log between the packet 1 to the packet 2, between the IP1 to the IP2, what is the non-simple behavior using the guard duty. So the guard duty is stay in the cloud, just you allow the checkbox if you alert on that one to you. It automatic immediately under the best practice on under the AI on the AWS provide to you. So the infrastructure security, when you're patching the system like we have 100 VM, we have 1,000 VM, you can make it simple to keep it the same level using the system manager to patch your OS, to patch the kinds of things, and also have the shield to protect on your data in the DDoS protection to make sure that it doesn't have an intrude. In the shield, we have a simple basic mode and also the advanced mode. On the advanced mode, you can make sure that we have a team to monitoring your health and go to the 24/7 to make sure that it doesn't have any intruder or any injection or any attack in your system. So the application, web application valve is under the, maybe you put into the CloudFront in CDN solution. Maybe you put under the load balancer that we have provided to you. And control the same policy using the firewall manager. When you want to do the access security or vulnerability check, you can go through the AWS inspector. And the same thing that we isolation the network between the instance by instance, between the develop to the UAT for the portion between the E-system using the VPC to split out or isolation the network security to make sure that one. Talk about the data. We have a solution, many kinds of that. People want to have, okay, we have a protection data at the transit. We also have a protection data at the rest. Data, you can choose to integrate the key management service. There is a compliant AES 256-bit, that one. And it's automatic rotate the key in every year. And you can make sure that for the soft key using many kinds of bank, maybe also the DBS bank in Singapore. Some customers go to how can we control extremely by yourself on the customer side. We talk about how can we apply the hardware encryption module. We also have that one using the cloud HSM. You can have a HSM, you can create it, control it, operate it. Doesn't have any intervention from the AWS. So the solution that when a customer using the HSM, it will populate in the two HSM because of this. If you go only one, it's a single failure. That's a suggestion in the BBA. Okay? And also, how can we protect the data inside the bucket, inside the object storage, inside the S3? That is a pop-up in another AI is a Mercy. That can identify and help you protect your data, especially in the personal information. Example, like your identity card or your number of the social security. That one. So you can manage and control many kinds of the encryption using the certification manager. And the same way that you can choose between server side that already embed or integrate into the AWS menu when you deploy RDS or when you deploy VM, EC2. In the same way that interact, example, like when we talk about the web application, when it has some attack from the outside intruder coming up, you can have alert from the guard duty. So what happened that we changed between the react to the proactive environment. Example like if we have any IP that coming up and attack you, example like come from the great, some kinds of that. So inject array on that one and alert on your guard duty. You can configure the CloudWatch and active for the Lambda. And Lambda is go to access and block the injection IP. That is an intruder. That one is the one thing that we show up in the incident response. So we change to the proactive. We don't have to concern and go to the monitoring and go to access a manual, remote and screen what is the unsuspicious IP and then block it. You can make it automatically using the Lambda, using the config rule that any kind of the change configuration is not compliant in your policy, you can block it. That is the kind of the security solution that we have. Along the way, start from the identify, detect, and the infrastructure security. Go to the protection data and the respond back in the incident that you have. Okay? So the highest standard of the privacy, we have the agreement that we don't move any customer data outside the region. That is the main thing that AWS do and always do that. Even you have to do by yourself to create another region and do the replication data outside that. Okay? Then the encryption at scale, you can have a KMS, you can have SSM that is using the FIPS validated. in the cryptography system. And also the compliance standard that we have, you can make it data lifecycle and make it better. I think it's around the last week of November. We also announced many kinds. In the week of the reInvent, that is the biggest event from the AWS, we have only 1 week about the 70 service that's coming up. The one that is make sure that it's confident in the security is transit gateway. It's a single point that you can access and control everything coming up. And also the security hub that can help you monitoring access and the security that you comply together on that one. Talk about the checkpoint. So checkpoint have a service that is a CloudGuard IaaS and the Dome9. So we talk about this one. Checkpoint is over the 25 years for the strong security and the cutting edge innovation. It's not just only go to the security, but it's beyond. And let me explain later on that one. So it's on the Fortune 500, and the company is have more than 100,000 that is a customer and cover around the 88 countries. There is innovation and a process for the NASDAQ is a profile from the checkpoint. So what they do, they have a complaint because we talk about how can make you go to the environment that DevSecOps is applied. It means that you develop and also can do the security in the same way that you have in the fast speed. So the Dome9 and the CloudGuard help you to make it simple, to combine it together using a script. You can have a security script that you can testing your code before and apply in the one stage of your development. That is one thing. Also, it's integrate with the other DevOps example. Like maybe you go to the GitHub, it can build the template into on that one. You can build a security script inside the development and testing on that one in the same way that you deploy the application. And the secure hybrid, because we have only it have a single pane of the control between each of that one. Let me talk later on that one. And you can apply the same policy that you have between the public cloud or between your on-prem or between your third party that you have, like a VMware NSX on your on-prem. Dome9 is go to the how can you make it simple? How can you make it virtualization? How can you make it over than the only firewall? That is a continued and compliant checkpoint that you can learning and talk about that one. This one is a threat cloud that talk about. So you have only the single pane of the consolidated security management. You can have managed cloud. Also, you can manage mobile. You can push the security on the encryption into the mobile device and application. Also, you can go to the control the network and the endpoint in the single console that we have in the checkpoint, okay? And also extended between even in a private, even on the cloud, even on the Dropbox, Office 365, or the customer that is integrated between the cloud together. And the same thing that we have in the on-prem, maybe you go run on the VMware NSX, or go to the OpenStack, or the Cisco. It's the same way that we have only a single console that you can and manage everything in the only simple way. So not only that, in Checkpoint CloudGuard, it also have a forensic analysis. And we have a sample in the one page about this one. Also, the advanced threat prevention. Advanced threat prevention is talk about how can they have a firewall, they have an IPS, they have an antivirus, also integrate the anti-bot. They have an application control, what happened between the how to protect your deny of access on your security. Also, it protect you in terms of the IPsec VPN and the mobile access. And you also have prevent your data loss prevention between the unintentional loss. It can create a policy and control on that one. And the SandBlast Zero data protection is always continue to protect your data and also checkpoint in accessment and compliance continue as that one under the cloud vendor. So this screen example, even we have testing in put into the simple malware into the one Windows and close or turn off everything about the security in the company. and just let sandblast agent forensic run it. So what happened about, if you coming up that they detect the malware in the remediation. Also, it go to the analysis and talk about what is a suspicious activity and what is the impact on your business. And then it will go to the step granularity, how incident detail. In the same way, without any, we turn off everything, we just run it. That is a simple way, and especially in the tab above, in the web application that they have, you can open the browser and talk about this. So general thing, you can do each detail by detail in the many tabs of that, investigate and always runs, always on your organization. So the Dome9 is a SaaS that is just on top of your organization, on top of your application, and looking for the compliant governance. You can explore and we talk about what is the risk, what is out of the compliance that you make sure that you still always compliant. And the network security and the privacy, you can control the privilege, also follow the AWS best practice on IAM example, like a root account have to lock, and you have to provide really at least privilege to you, that one. And the cloud security intelligence. So example with the Dome9 that is combined together. You have a visibility access, the VPC, you have a configuration management, what is changing on that one. You have the vulnerability assessment and the active protection. Compliance management along the way that you build on your DevOps. After you create a code, you can have a validate on the deployment. You can automate testing between your deployment, also the secure on your between your release using maybe Jenkins. And the deployment, you can have an actionable alert on that one. So that one we talk about, it doesn't have any requirement for install the agent. It's just a browser and go to agentless and cloud native compatible. Maybe you can using the API, CLI that you have. And between the simple thing that you have, you just click and deploy it. So it's just only limited that you can available to use. That's a kind of the use case. Maybe you can use the cloud migration, the use case you can apply on your DevOps. You can continue compliant that you can monitoring on that one, and also the enterprise governance. So this one is an advanced protection. You can have a security protection. You can have a period identify. You create a policy on the orchestration and make it automatic detect and make it automatic compliant to you in the context aware. Example, like if you go through, if you detect what is your data and scan about the port, about your application, about the content, what is the security or what is the intrusion about that one. You can control that into the policy. It's on top of the AWS that provide you, is supreme the security already. So that is my session, talk about the simple that. Thank you. As I know that any question, you can ask that.
Do you know any open source version for Dome9?
So open source version, I will check on that one and give to you. Yeah.
Thought about something I can talk to you about. But
Thanks.